Hello, everyone. Welcome. I see folks coming in now. Welcome. Very excited to have you join us today. Give it a couple minutes, a moment to let folks join us. My name is Vanessa Adams. I'm the program coordinator for Kids Mental Health, Pierce County. Really excited to be here today with Lisa Duke. We are going to get started here in a moment. This is a lunch and learn, an overview about Bridges Center for Grieving Children. I'm really excited about this webinar as a brief introduction, but even more excited for the following series of webinars. So today we will hear from Lisa Duke about the programs that she has at Bridges Center for Grieving Children, supported through Pierce County Human Services. Just get to know Lisa a little bit, see what's going on and how the programs are, how to refer young folks, who to refer, and what is offered. And then we will go ahead and talk a little bit about what is coming next in the 4-part webinar series. So here is the QR code and the upcoming webinars that we have scheduled over the next couple months, month and a half. So really excited for this series and really excited today. So welcome, Lisa. Very excited to have you here today. Really excited to introduce you to the community. This is a program coordinator for Bridges Center for Grieving Children. Has so much experience, wealth of knowledge on this topic, and I have just been so fortunate to work with her over the past several years, and she's a gift to our community. So I will turn it over to you, Lisa.
Thanks, Vanessa. Well, welcome. I'm really glad that you are joining today just to learn a little bit more of the who, what, where, when, and how to refer kids and adults, families to Bridges Center for Grieving Children. Next slide. Right, so we do the grief support groups with children, teens, and the adults in the family. We work with children from the ages of 4 to 18 in our in-person groups, and then the adults in their life. So how they define family and who those caregivers are in their life as the family defines that. The bereavement groups we do on a bi-monthly basis, so 2 times a month, and they're in person in the grief support groups. We offer them in Tacoma currently. In the fall, we will also be back in our Puyallup location, so we'll be offering both Tacoma and Puyallup in the fall of 2024. And families come to us from any county. If they can reach us, they can attend our program. We are a community program of Mary Bridge Children's Hospital, though it's not required that the children or the adults be patients of, that the children be patients of Mary Bridge. And the other program that we offer is a 1-time-a-month program of discoveries, and that's an anticipatory loss group. So if someone in the immediate family or extended family has an illness and it's impacting the family, we have the 1-time-a-month support group of discoveries, and we partner with our pediatric hematology oncology clinic then for them to provide the illness group for the kids who have an illness from their clinic. And so that's 1 time a month. We also work with young adults in a virtual group sessions, 8-week sessions, and those young adults are 18 to 25, and we have 2 different programs for that. We have the bereavement program, and that can be a death of someone in their immediate family or extended family, and then we also have an anticipatory loss program for the young adults as well. For our children, for the in-person groups, for the bereavement groups, we limit it to the death of a sibling or a parent in those groups. Next slide. So we offer the free of charge, we offer the support groups to the community. One significant point to our groups is that they are support groups, they are not therapy groups. We are a place for families, children to discover that they're not alone in their grief. Bridges Groups is a community of people who care and understand what it means to lose someone of significance. And so it's a place where grief is considered, and we don't consider it something to fix, but we hope that those who attend our groups will get to a point that they can share the grief experience they have and feel supported by the group members in their group. They're led by trained volunteers who are guided by the clinical staff at Bridges. And it's an environment where individuals can grow in their understanding of their grief and discover ways to cope. What we when what we suggest that families call us directly to sign up for the groups, and the reason for that is because we find that it's most successful for them if they are reaching out and calling, one, because they're engaged and it's on their radar that this is something that they are ready for. They've gotten to a point as a family or individuals in the family to say, I need this, we want this. And so that we have found to be the most successful for the engagement for the family in our program. One other program that we offer is Camp Aaron, the free grief camp for Tacoma, Pierce County. And that is offered in June, the 7th through the 9th this year. And so we're really excited to be back at Camp Aaron this year in 2024. So that's an additional program. And Camp Aaron is open to members who are involved in our Bridges support groups and also who are not, who have never come to Bridges, but just are in the community and would like to attend the grief camp. Next slide. So one of the questions we receive a lot is when to refer families to our program. And families can be referred immediately after the death. And we encourage again that the families are the ones that reach out and call us when they feel ready. We have heard over the years that many families will hear about Bridges from multiple places, multiple people. So it may be a pediatrician, it may be a school counselor, and a friend. We get referrals from families arrive to us from, again, the pediatricians, school counselors, someone they know in their life who's either been through the program, has heard about Bridges, first responders, chaplains with the first responders. Um, so there's a variety of places that people will hear about our support groups. We start new families in September and October, and then January, March, and in our abbreviated summer sessions in July and August. And we will work with families on the best time for them to start when they call. The reason that we stagger those times is one, because we found over the years doing this work for 35 years that it really is helpful to not have new families joining every group session. But also it's based on the curriculum that we use and when it's a good time to start, when families seem to have the most success at starting in our groups. And so those are the times that they can start. Families can be in our program for a year to go through the program for that full year. And so again, that call to Bridges is really helpful because then we can really walk them through what we offer, when it might be a good time to start, and what are some of the things to consider in that timing. Um, so some of the things that particularly are important in that may delay their entry into the groups, one being if it's a death where there is a legal case around the death, and if the child or adult is involved in testifying in that legal case, we recommend the family wait for groups until after their involvement is resolved. The legal case may go on, of course, for years, but the it's been recommended to us from professionals early on that it's best for those family members to wait until their involvement is resolved before they would be in a support group telling and retelling their story. Um, if a child or teen is recently hospitalized for harm to themselves, then we will recommend that they be seeing a counselor and a one-to-one counseling situation to reach a place of increased sense of safety before entering the support groups. It that may be a 3-month period, but that is not set in stone. We will work with the family to, and hopefully with the counselor at, at their approval, to make sure that the child or teen is in a better place to be in support groups with others. If the child and family have indications of trauma from the death, so nightmares, revisiting the scene of the death in their mind, exposure to violence with the death, we will screen them for possibly suggesting that they receive, again, the one-to-one counseling to help with the trauma experience. Our hope, of course, is that they would be in a more stable place before joining the groups. And the concern being that hearing other stories in the group may be triggering for that family member. And it may also trigger other group members with their story. And so if they are focused, if the family that's new to Bridges or is calling to enter Bridges support groups is more focused on their trauma reaction than the grief experience, we will work with them to try and help them get the support they need for that need for the trauma help. We may have a waiting list in the group that they are a fit for. Not all of our group nights have waiting lists, but we in particular do have one right now that currently has a wait list. Um, but what we are asking is that families reach out to us, initiate the call to us, express their interests, and then what we will do is work with them on resources that meet where they're at and their need. We will send out a packet to them. We will call them on a regular basis to check in to see if they have increased concerns or if the resources that they did receive are supporting them. Um, those families can also check in with us to see where they are on the wait list. But by them calling and initiating, that gives us the opportunity to at least start that support for them. Um, and what happens when families call is that the staff will work with them to understand their story, their experience with the loss. We will, as staff, find out how the child is coping in school or at home, how the adult is coping with daily life. And if there's an opening in our groups, which likely there is, hopefully, we will then schedule them for an in-person intake. And at that intake, we then will do some paperwork that we need to do. We do some get to know you paperwork with the child or teen. Um, and then that gives us an additional chance to screen them for any other resources that might be appropriate and if they are a fit for group. One of the We get a lot of referrals for kids in that late grade school age, or middle school range, where there are some behavior issues. And if that's the primary concern in the family, as well as there being a grief experience, we will work with them and suggest that they try groups and that we give it a try, with the possibility that if the child has a difficult time being in groups with others, is not redirectable, then we will possibly put a pause and try and get them the resources, or at least make suggestions for resources that might be more helpful for that child at that time. And so those are some of the areas where we will possibly take a pause and make sure that it's a good fit for them. A lot of families will call us, and their initial call is, I need counseling. I need grief counseling for my kids. So we will reach out to them and make sure, so this is what we offer. Is this what you want? Or do you really you want to go directly to that one-on-one counseling? And then we will work with what their resources are, whether it's if they have insurance or different things, and make suggestions to them where they could reach out for that support. At Bridges, we don't offer the one-to-one counseling for the children or the adults. Next slide. Okay, so the mission of Bridges is that no child will grieve alone, and that is really what happens in our groups for the families, child, teens, adults, is that whether they are ready to talk about their story and their experience with this loss in their life, they have an opportunity to know, just by being in the room with others close to their age, um, or other adults who have a similar death in their family, they can know that they're not alone and they can take their time at sharing their story and their experience with the grief in their life. So how families reach us is the calling our direct line and the 403-1966. They can also email myself or my staff, Matt Ledeen, to reach out, and then we will arrange a time to talk on the phone with them if they prefer to reach us that way. Families can be encouraged to look at our website. There are grief articles on the website talking about children in grief and how to support children with particular losses in the family. There is further details about our groups, what to expect when coming to Bridges. There's information about discoveries, and so they can go to that website and find that information. There's also a video that gives them a glimpse into the groups and what they can expect in the groups with footage from families who have been through our program. So it can be helpful for them to get a better sense of what to expect. And um, so, yeah, that is the how, what, where, and how to refer to Bridges.
Thank you, Lisa. I want to open it up for questions. You can use the question and answer part of the bottom of your screen, possibly the chat. Sometimes it doesn't work, but you could try that out, or the question and answer. And we do have a couple of questions already. Do you offer multilingual services for immigrant and refugee populations?
Good question. We will use interpreter services and have an interpreter. For primarily what we have found is that it is the adult in the family who can benefit from those services. And so we will provide an interpreter um, for the initial phone call, for the intake, and for the group. And what we try to do is have consistency with that interpreter. So we work with interpreter services to have that interpreter come back again and again, so the family hopefully feels a little bit more comfortable knowing who to expect for that service.
Great, thank you. And then is it possible to get some brochures for families to access in juvenile court lobby?
Yes, we would be happy to. My email is there if you want to just send an email, and I can get it over to your to the lobby, to your staff.
Great. And then can you drop into the group, or are they structured with a start and an end?
They are structured with a start and an end. Yes. And so we welcome they have to go through that process of calling and the intake. And then once we start them, they have that year to be a part of it. Now, of course, there are events that get in the way of attending a group night, and we will work with them, illness or events in their life that interrupt. What we say to families is we really encourage them to be a part of the program when it seems like a good fit for them and when they'll be available, because they really will only get the benefit from being in the groups if they have pretty regular attendance. um, if we don't hear from families for a few visits, we will move on and include other families in, just because it's been a wait list for us. Um, but really, the benefit is making the connection with the other group members, going through the curriculum together, that opportunity to tell and retell their story, to share that with others, to find the connections they have in each other's experience with grief, and really be there for each other as they're facing particularly significant events in the year, or particular challenges with their child. That group becomes very supportive to each other and helping each other through those times. And so if families are not in regular attendance, they really are missing out on that, developing that sense of community.
Yeah, that's so important. It's so important. And all of the work that we do together is the building of the relationships. And I think in grief, and in these support groups, even more so, those relationships are so important, as they build and develop. So makes
Yeah.
so much sense, to do that. I am so grateful that you were here today. For those of you that don't know, Kids Mental Health Pierce County is a coalition of agencies and providers and humans in the community that are working to streamline and support behavioral health needs, for school age youth in our community. So, in doing that, these are all of our young people, and this is all of our community. So, the more that we can be connected and build those relationships to support the youth and families that we see and serve and live around, the better. So this is another resource, another opportunity. I'm very excited for the upcoming webinar series. The next is March 27th, and that is from 2 to 3 p.m. and it's Understanding Children's Grief. That's the next one that Lisa will be diving much deeper on. I'm not sure if there are any other questions, but I would like to just thank and appreciate the community for being invested in, the young folks that they serve, and really looking and seeking to gain knowledge, information, and resources all of the time. So, Lisa, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, I just really am thankful that for whoever is interested and really looking at these supports for the kids, and anyone can reach out at any time with any questions or resources that they would like for the families they serve.
Thank you very much. And if you do have additional questions, my email is up on the screen. You can go to kidsmentalhealthpiercecounty.org, scan the QR code to sign up for the additional webinars, to see the whole series, to learn more on this topic. And also, if you want resources or information where you work, you can email me. I can get you connected to Lisa. We can make sure to get those out to the community further. So reach out through the website, reach out through my email. We can remain connected, and we hope to see you again soon on March 27th from 2 to 3. It looks like we have a thank you in the chat. So thank you, Lisa. We're really grateful to you, and excited to learn more as we move forward in the next few weeks.
Great. Thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.